Hey, good morning, everyone. Here on Rewind, this is Don Ross of Ross Wealth Advisors, and welcome to my show, The Abundant Retirement Show, where we're touching on topics that are important to you as you make decisions on your retirement as they relate to taxes and paying the least amount of taxes, your investment accounts like your 401ks, your IRAs, your annuities, your money markets, and all of that. We also want to help you make the best decisions for those of you that may be looking at Social Security options, how do you take your pension appropriately. And so we are a comprehensive retirement planning firm, whether you're 45 or 95. We want to help you make the best decisions for your abundant retirement. I'm here in the studio. It's Sunday morning. Yes, I know it's early. But however, I want to invite you to come in and learn more about who we are and what we do. And we're on Fishinger Road here in Upper Arlington, and been here most of my life as a Upper Arlington High School graduate. Decided to stay in the community and also build my practice, which I've been doing for 30 years. Hard to believe, actually. It's 31. 1987, I started with a company called IDS, now known as Ameriprise. And I talk a lot about that in my book. And today's show, I want to talk about Chapter 5 of my book. It's the U.S. Retiree Survival Handbook. I wrote it in simulation or in similarities to the survival guide I was handed as an 18-year-old boot camp soldier in basic training. And I was in the Army National Guard for 25 years, retired 11 years ago. And so I thought, as I write a book that you can read, I thought I'd write it like a retirement survival guide, and the tools and tactics and strategies you can incorporate to make sure you preserve, protect, and enjoy your retirement as it relates to investments, taxes, and estate planning for a long time, because we don't know how long your retirement could be. So multiple ways to reach me. Office is 614-545-0277. And even at 2 in the morning or 7 in the morning, you can call. We have an answering service. If it's during business hours, I have a great staff between Renee and Nikki who will answer the phone and offer you world-class service. I'm also available at don@rosswealthadvisors.com. That's my email. And I would invite you to look at the website, rosswealthadvisors.com. This is where you can even request my book. If you don't want to talk to anybody, you can go on the website and request the book that we're going to discuss, Chapter 5 today. There are 10 chapters. It does start off with an intro about who I am and how I became a retirement planning specialist, and my background. I talk about my family, my military career, and I think that's important as you consider working with someone to help you make the best retirement planning decisions. I think you should know as much as you can about them. Our industry is wrought with, scandals and shysters. I could say one person's name and everybody would know what I'm talking about. I won't say it, but it's Bernie Madoff. So our industry, it needs more trust built into it, and that's why I wrote this book, to help you learn about me particularly, not that maybe we won't work together, but understanding what I do and how I can help you make the best decisions with your retirement planning. So of the 10 chapters, we're up to Chapter 5. And Chapter 5, I write about, hold on, I'm looking at my book right now. I write about variable annuities. These are insurance products that are offered by, let's use an example here in Columbus, Ohio, a little company downtown called Nationwide Insurance. Very large, old, stable, solid company. You may have your home and auto insured by them, but they also can insure, for lack of a better way to say it, your savings. They can insure your life. That's called life insurance. So there's a tool out there that are called variable annuities. I will make a disclosure that as a retirement advisor, I'm not a big fan of them only because of the fees that they have. But like any tool out there, you need to use them appropriately. In other words, we don't use a hammer to dig a hole to plant our plants, and we don't use a shovel to drive a nail. Same thing with financial products. We need to use them where they're appropriate, and variable annuities are popular. But in my book, I'm going to talk about why I am not a fan of them, mostly because of the fees and the potential loss of your principal, what you put into it. So in the book, I talk about understanding the different ways that you can earn money. So let's go back to Nationwide, a great company. I'm not saying about their variable annuities, but since this is in Central Ohio, most of you would know Nationwide, but MetLife has them, Pacific Life has them, you name the insurance company. And what they do with these variable annuities, they're offering a chance to grow your money because of the stock market. Stock market is a great way to build wealth. And so wrapped inside the variable annuities are maybe 100 or 200 mutual funds that you will pick so you grow your money. The opposite of a variable annuity might be a fixed annuity that's basically going to say, like a CD, here's a stated interest rate you'll get for 2, 4, 5 years. You pick the terms. A variable annuity is you have unlimited upside and what else? Unlimited downside. So like anything else, there are good and bad ones. So the issue that you might want to consider are the fees. And again, for retirement planning is about what? The most important thing you have to realize in retirement planning is income. How do you take what you've saved? And many of you have saved very, very well and done very well. And now you have to have that bucket of money or buckets of money you have start paying your monthly expenses. Because when that paycheck stops, what are you going to do? Even if you have Social Security and or a pension, many of you have PERS, State Teachers Retirement, Ohio Police and Fire, all of these I'm very familiar with. All my clients have these. But some of you may just have one form of income called Social Security or a pension. But that doesn't meet or cover your monthly expenses, so now we have to tap into our savings. And we want to structure our assets in multiple buckets. And so in retirement planning, I'm looking for the most effective, low-cost type vehicle, if we're talking annuities, to get you the maximum income on a guaranteed basis. Yes, guaranteed. These do offer guarantees. But with the variable annuity, you're going to have upside potential, which means the income you're generating could go up or it could go down. I kind of like to avoid the part of the equation where your income would go down. So in our next show next week, I'm going to talk about a different type of an annuity that's structured to give you income, and they're called hybrid income annuity. So a variable annuity has its place, but again, like any tool, a shovel and a hammer, they have their place in your financial retirement planning. So there are fees inside of here that really concern me, and that's what we need to uncover between the mutual fund fees, sub-account fees. Some of these have an added feature that will grow your money for income purposes. So for radio purposes, it can be very complex. And that's why I need to get my book in your hands. So if you've saved at least $250,000 for retirement, call me, email me. You can even text 979797. That's the number. And you can text the word book and your address, and I will make sure we get my book to you. Because, I even had 5 clients edit it when I wrote it back in 2012, and their response was, well done. It's simple. It's about a 2-hour read. And the response I liked the best was, we're glad we're with you, and we left where we were. Because 50% of those that come aboard with us each year are leaving a financial advisor, and that's okay. That's okay, because maybe it's time for you to graduate to an advisor that specializes in what we do, and other advisors in town that do retirement planning specialties. So I'd like to get this book in your hands. If you've saved at least $250,000 for retirement, 614-545-0277. Or maybe you're a little shy and you may not want to talk to someone right away. Go to my website, rosswealthadvisors.com. You could see on the landing page, there is a video. I would enjoy it if you watch that video about who we are. But there is a link to request the book. Or like I said earlier, you could email me directly. I will reply within 12 hours, guaranteed. And that is Don at rosswealthadvisors.com. I'm in the business of educating the consumer because I believe when the consumer is educated, they win. That's why I wrote this book. Oh, and by the way, as I look at it here, it reminds me, it's large font. You know, when I sit down with someone and they haven't read it and we've had our first visit and we're going to get back together again, and on the website, you can see me sitting down with clients in my office, but I have them read it. And when I'm going over the book and as I hand it to them, I show them large print and they all kind of chuckle because it's written for the eyes that are going to read it. All right. And I don't see smaller font anymore. Even on my iPhone, I have the larger font to be able to see. And my daughter chuckles at me when she sees how large, my font is on my phone. So I'm about focusing on your quality of life. You know what? And maybe you aren't retired yet and you don't like your job. Let's sit down together. And in addition to reading my book, let's do a financial MRI and look at your portfolio. And I can measure if we have another 2008, could your portfolio lose 20, 30, 40%? That could really change your retirement. And I love showing people that when they give me a date or an year they want to retire or an age, and we can do it sooner with confidence, it changes their whole mindset. And unfortunately, some of you are just tired of your job. Well, if you break down the word retirement, what's right in the middle of that word retirement? Tired. It's time to move on and start looking at another phase of your life. So if you are interested in learning more about variable annuities, because many of you have them, and frankly, many of you don't even know how they operate, because I review them with clients or potential clients like you that come in every day and are not familiar with this variable annuity. Maybe their broker sold them or their banker sold them. Let me get this book in your hands, and chapter 5 alone just discusses in details the good, the bad, and the ugly of how they work. Am I against them across the board? No. But I want to make sure you understand these are an income tool. And if I'm going to use an income tool, I want to use the most cost-effective, cheapest, getting you the maximum income for the least amount deposited. In other words, if you put $100,000 in one and it would pay you a guaranteed income of $1,000 for life, what if we could find one that you put $100,000 in and give you $1,200 a month for the rest of your life? That's what I'm talking about. It's all about cost efficient. I use a lot of analogies. If your car is supposed to get 25 miles a gallon, you find it's getting 17, you want to fix it, right? Well, there's a couple things that would need to be done, and you need to go to the right person to do that. And that's the same thing with us. So if you want to get this book, and before we go to break, I want to give you my number, 614-545-0277. I will call you, or my staff will call you back right away. You can text to the number 979797. You can text that book, or you can email me directly, Don at rosswealthadvisors.com, and we'll be right back.
Joe Bradley here with Don Ross, the retirement boss of Ross Wealth Advisors, and we're discussing retirement planning versus retirement income planning. It's just a one word, but big difference, right, Don?
Absolutely. Significant difference, Joe. Retirement planning is about growing your assets, like in your 401ks, your IRAs, deferred comp. So when you retire, you have that money to enjoy that abundant retirement. Retirement income planning is different in our area of expertise. Remember, when that paycheck stops, everything changes. Are your assets positioned and invested properly to generate reliable income, regardless of what happens on Wall Street or Main Street, and more importantly, how long you live?
So Ross Wealth Advisors is really about specializing in this, right?
Absolutely. Any mistakes during this phase of your life, could be catastrophic.
Whether you're retired or within 5 years of retiring or just have concerns about whether you're going to have enough money, call Don's office and schedule a complimentary visit. The number is 614-545-0277, or you can simply visit rosswealthadvisors.com.
And welcome back. Here we are on the Abundant Retirement Show on Rewind. I'm Don Ross of Ross Wealth Advisors, and I sure would love to sit down and see if I can help you plan your abundant retirement, which I define as a retirement on your terms, at your time, and you can spend with confidence, because that's what it's all about. Retirement is about how do I have enough money and cash flow, as I call it, to last the rest of my life. Now, unfortunately, the rest of your life could be tomorrow, or it could be when you're 92. Do you have enough to last? So today we're talking about my book again, and we're up to chapter 5 of my retirement survival guide. Again, I wrote it because I wanted to mimic or make a similarity to the survival guide I received in boot camp in 1982 as a young recruit in the United States Army down at Fort Sill, Oklahoma. And yeah, I thought I'm going to nice warm country, but in the middle of January, I'm marching through snowdrifts. And so I learned a lot as an 18-year-old who graduated up Arlington and thought he knew everything, but I didn't. But now I do, kind of. So I've been advising families for 30 years on how to invest appropriately, pay the least amount of taxes, get your estate in order for the abundant retirement you all want and you all deserve. Many of you are getting advice, but you're just not sure it's the competent advice you want and need. And so I, like many people, have gone independent. So now I can really represent and customize the best plan for you. And it starts off with sitting down one-on-one, or even before that, reading my book. My book is about 10 chapters, and it's about helping you understand all the facets to plan your upcoming retirement, or even those of you that are retired. It makes no sense. It makes no difference. Apologies there. It makes no difference if you're retired or you're going to retire in 10 years. This book is going to be helpful. I've had hundreds have read it. I've received great kudos. And here's the thing. If you read it, it gives you a good idea of who I am and what I'm about. And you might say, you know what? You're too conservative, because we are. I don't want to take risk with your retirement planning. There's advisors out there that will and would love to. But as a fiduciary, I don't want to take that chance with your money. So I have proven strategies in here. And in chapter 5, we're talking about something I'm not a big fan of, but they're very popular. It's variable annuities. And like I said in the first part of the show, variable annuities are instruments offered by insurance companies, like, for instance, here in good old Columbus, Ohio, Nationwide Insurance, a great company. And these products are sold by the billions of dollars around the country. And their idea is the variable means you're invested in mutual funds inside of the annuity wrapper, if you will. And the idea is with these mutual funds, you're going to grow your money because they invest in the stock market. But variable means what? It can go up and it can go down. I'm more interested in helping you protect from the downside. So the reason why I'm not a big fan of these, and it has nothing to do with Nationwide, any of the companies that sell them, they're just kind of expensive. They have a lot of fees in them to do what they need to do. I'm a big believer that if you're going to implement an annuity, and there's multiple types, you're using the annuity to generate income. If we were to define the word annuity, technically, Social Security is an annuity. The annuity definition means a stream of payments for a set period of time, 5 years, 10 years, lifetime, 20 years, whatever. And if I'm going to generate income from your savings and you want some of it guaranteed, okay, then the certain type of annuity to do that is going to say, all right, you have a set dollar amount every month for the set period of time, or how about the rest of your life? And by the way, the stigma with annuities is that when you die, if there's any money left in it, it disappears. That's not true. Well, actually, it is true. They're out there, but we in our office would never, ever use them. We want to make sure you maximize the use of your money, whether it's in a portfolio or an annuity. But anyhow, chapter 5 of my book, if I can get this book in your hands, I'd love to do that. There's multiple ways to reach out to me. If you've saved at least $250,000 for retirement and you have an annuity or don't, send me an email, don@rosswealthadvisors.com. I will reply within 12 hours, usually sooner. You can call the office, and Nikki or Renee would love to help you get this book in your hands. 614-545-0277. Or you can even text to 797979. You could text, hey, send me your book. And, of course, include your address, because it's not digital. It's not on Kindle. It's an actual hard copy. It's got a camouflage cover. It's pretty neat. Looks like a military survival guide. You know, I had a couple come in a few weeks ago that has been working with an advisor for 15, 18 years, and they just started feeling like, we're going to retire next year. We don't really have an income plan. And what we found out is this is not what that advisor does. You know, it's kind of like if you go to a Chevy dealer looking for a Volkswagen, what are you going to get? You're going to get a Chevy, and it may not be what you need. So there's a lot of advisors that are fantastic out there, and they're great to getting you to retirement, but maybe they don't have the tools now to get you through retirement, which is what we do. They come in, we sat down, and they had concerns about taxes. How do I generate an income from my assets? And they had saved very well. And some other questions about risk and fees in their portfolio. And you've heard me talk about my financial MRI, which I need to do for each of you that has one. But when they came back for their second visit, the homework was to read the book. And again, it's about a 2-hour read, unless you want to read slower. But it's about a 2.5 hour read. And it's 10 of the most important chapters. We're talking about chapter 5 today. But they came back, and I mean, the book was dog-eared. There's sticky notes in it. And they were bringing up questions from reading this that, like, they said, in I quote, "Our current advisor never talked to us about any of this stuff." And what we discovered was the advisor was more just transaction. Give me your money. Let's grow it. Okay. And that's dangerous, because what are we growing it to? Is there a certain dollar amount? Is there a certain rate of return? And that can be very dangerous. And so when they came back and shared with me that this book was speaking to them, I said, thank you very much. And that was also their kind of permission to say, let's keep moving. Let's go to the next step. And our process is about a 4-step process. So in chapter 5, if you have a variable annuity, I'd love to get it into your hands so you can understand why they may not be the best tool for you. Now, do you go out and just close it out tomorrow? Of course not. Tools in the financial world are just like tools that you can use in your garden or at home. Again, another analogy is, I don't know how many of you use a nail or a hammer to dig a hole, but you probably don't use a shovel to drive a hammer. Well, some of you might, because my dad, when he couldn't reach his hammer and he had to put a nail in the wall, he grabbed the nearest shovel, but that's another story. So we need to use the financial products for what they're designed for, just like the tools in your toolbox at home. So the annuities are a tool, and without really looking at a situation, they're designed to help fix a certain goal, and that's income. That's what retirement is all about. How do you take your savings, and some of you have saved very, very well. How do you take those savings, generate an income that you can depend on, that's consistent and reliable? And if you come in the office, I'll show you how we do the bucketing system. And you know what? I'm talking with another couple right now that they have 2 variable annuities. They know, based on reading my book, I'm not a big fan of them, but we're going to leave them in place because they have what's called an income rider. This is also in chapter 5 of the book. The income rider is basically a guarantee from the insurance company that says, whatever you put in this, we're going to grow it at a certain rate of return, 4, 5, 6% every year. And whatever that grows to will be the basis for how we generate the income you will take from this. What does that sound like? It sounds like a pension or Social Security. You understand that the longer you wait to take a pension or a Social Security, the payout will be what? Higher. Okay. So they do the same thing with these, but they're very complex. And if you do have one, whether you come in or not, we can call your company, your insurance company, and ask them, Oh, I have about 24 questions we ask so you understand what exactly you have. And that's another eye-opening situation that this couple discovered, that this variable annuity had some features and fees they had no idea. Were they unhappy? Yeah, I was delivering news that they didn't want to hear. But the reason why we'll keep this in place and build their new plan, and they're going to say goodbye to their current advisor, is the income rider has the feature that says, all right, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, when you turn this on in 3 years, it's going to pay $1,350 a month, guaranteed the rest of your life. So we're going to leave that in place, because if they did close it out, sure, I'd love to put it in a new portfolio for them. That's what we do. But it's not in their best interest. And as a fiduciary, I'm not going to do that. So we're going to leave it in place. So many of you have investments or tools, whatever you want to call it, in your financial toolbox that we would keep in place after we analyze, hey, are they going to do what they're supposed to do? And that's really what the financial MRI does. But it all starts with getting a copy of my book in your hands. And I'd love to mail it to you. If you call 614-545-0277, we'll get that to you immediately. You can find us on the web, rosswealthadvisors.com. You can go and request the book there. I get an email notice right away, and we'll get that book out to you. Or you can email me directly, don@rosswealthadvisors.com. Let's get this book in your hands, and if you saved at least $250,000 for retirement, I promise you that it'll be enlightening, whether you ever sit down with me one-on-one, and it'll be educational. That's why I wrote it, and that's why I want to get into your hands and make sure that your fiscal house, as we call it, is in shape for your abundant retirement. 614-545-0277. And in addition to that, let's schedule a one-on-one, you and I, one-on-one, or if you're married or significant other or whatever, I want to sit down with you, and let's see if we can make a difference for your retirement planning. I work with married couples, singles, divorcees, widows, widowers. We do educational events, and our next one's coming up July 24th. It's clients and anybody else I want to invite, and we have a discussion and cocktails and hors d'oeuvres, and we do it at a local club in town, and our clients just love it. Maybe you want to meet us that way. I'd love to have you come to that event. That's July 24th at 6 p.m. But more importantly, let's get a copy of this book in your hands, 614-545-0277. I want to start helping you like the hundreds of families we've helped over the last 30 years of doing this. Make sure that your financial situation is set up the best it can be for your abundant retirement. Also, maybe you don't want the book. I'm open to questions. You can email me or text me. The number is 797979. Ask a question maybe that's been bugging you. And a lot of the questions I get is, I don't know what fees I'm paying, and my advisor doesn't really convey that to me. I will show you in a financial MRI how to do that. Maybe that's more important than reading my book. But the book is very, very important in the process of getting to know one another as we start building your abundant retirement plan. 614-545-0277. Email me, don@rosswealthadvisors.com. Visit the website. And next week, we're going to talk about Chapter 6 of the book and how to get it into your hands. And we'll talk about also the podcast, the Abundant Retirement Podcast, that you can hear on iTunes or Stitcher. So until then, have a safe and prosperous week, and we'll see you back here on the Abundant Retirement Show on Rewind.